The next bracelet that I have right here is my trip bracelet. This bracelet here has the classic Pandora clasp, which says Pandora, and the safety chain that I have is a Disney safety chain that we can see the little head silhouette of a Minnie Mouse in one side and the Mickey in the other side, and it has little zirconia stones inside them. And the clips that I have are these globe clips here that I thought was absolutely perfect for this trip theme bracelet. So I got 2 clips here for my bracelet, and they are exactly the same globe. The first charm that I have here is this dangle, which has a Puerto Rico flag, and it's painted with enamel in one side, and the other side simply says Pandora. And this charm here is very hard to get because it is a Puerto Rico exclusive charm. So like the Vegas charm that you saw on my previous bracelet, this charm here is not sold at the Pandora website. You need to be in Puerto Rico to get this. And I bought this charm here in 2020 during a trip that my husband and I took. My husband and I, we decided to take a cruise to the Eastern Caribbean, and one of the stops of the cruise was Puerto Rico. We really had a wonderful time in Puerto Rico. I absolutely loved to see Puerto Rico. We took several pictures during this trip. I'm gonna leave some of them here so that you can see it. We saw a lot there. We were close to the ocean, we saw a fort there, and we visited a place where they have several doves, like a park. It was really fun. We were trying to feed the doves and they were like almost attacking us there, flying all over us. It was a really fun trip. I have great memories of this trip, and every single view that I could notice in Puerto Rico was just breathtaking. It was a really charming and beautiful place. The next charm that I have here is this little seashell here, and this seashell represents several places that I have visited. Among them, we have the Bahamas, because I have been to the Bahamas several times. It's a very beautiful place. I also visited the US Virgin Islands when we went to St. Thomas and also St. Martin, which is an island in the Northeast Caribbean. And we also visited Roatan in Honduras. That was a very nice trip too. Roatan is an island in the Caribbean, a very popular scuba diving destination, and the most common language on Roatan is Caribbean English, even though the official language of Honduras is actually Spanish, and this is because Roatan was an English colony for several years. While in Roatan, we went to Arches Iguana and Marine Park to feed the iguanas and also to see the monkeys there. This seashell also represents Belize City in Belize. So I have all these tropical destinations represented by this seashell here. Now I have this super cute sombrero here, which is this tiny Mexican hat filled with details all over. And I have this hat here to represent our trip to Mexico. I have been to Cozumel in Mexico and also Costa Maya. So I got this charm to remind me of my time there. I absolutely love to travel, but my favorite kind of trip is definitely through a cruise ship. So I have this cruise ship charm right here to remind me of all the cruise trips I have ever taken. I have taken 6 different cruises. Most of them were with the Norwegian Cruise Line.
Oi pra todo mundo, eu tô aqui e esse é o nosso navio.
but I also took one cruise with the Holland America and another one with the Royal Caribbean inside the Symphony of the Seas, that in the year of 2020, when I took the cruise, was the largest cruise ship in the world. The reason why I love cruising so much is because it is a very relaxing trip. It's like waking up in a different country every single day. You do not need to worry about hotel reservations, especially if you like to see several different countries in a very short period of time, like about a week, for example. All the excursions are pre-planned by the ship, so you can just pick your favorites, or you can simply decide to stay inside the ship, because there is plenty of things to do inside the ship. There are several different kinds of shows, classes. You can learn how to do craft and arts. You can also learn how to make animals out of towels and several other things. And the food is absolutely fabulous. There are several kinds of restaurants, Italian, Mexican, you name it. And also a buffet which is open 24 hours in case you feel hungry late in the evening. And there's also unlimited ice cream throughout the ship. Now I have the Colosseum charm right here. This is a really cute charm because it has a very small heart here in the center on both sides of the charm. And I got this charm here to represent all my trips to Italy. We went to Civitavecchia in Italy. We also visited Livorno, Naples, Rome, and that's why I have the Colosseum here. We also saw Sicily and the Vatican. And I learned that the Vatican is its own country. And it's also the smallest country in the world. What was really interesting to learn. And I love it. All the places in Italy, they're all very interesting. Many historical facts to learn. It's a lot more fun to see history than to learn it through books and school. So it was a really enlightening trip, very informative. We had a tour guide there inside the Vatican that showed everything around to us. We visited some rooms too in Rome. So it was great. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip, really unforgettable. The only place that I did not like very much in Italy was Livorno. I remember that we only went to Livorno because we were in a cruise and there was a stop in Livorno. And when we were anchored, in the port, we asked one of the receptionists inside the ship, like, what do you suggest that we could do here in Livorno? And he looked at us and he said, are you sure you want to leave the ship in Livorno? And we were like, yeah, we want to walk around and see what there is out there. And he said, there is nothing there. And we thought he was exaggerating. I remember that in Livorno, most people who took an excursion were actually going to Pisa that day. But the Pisa excursion was a whole day excursion. You would need to take a bus and the bus would drive for several hours until we finally reached Pisa and several hours back. So we decided not to take that because my husband had already been to Pisa and he said there was not much there either, other than taking a picture with the Leaning Tower like this. There was not a lot to do. So we decided to skip that. And we thought, well, maybe he's exaggerating. So we took a walk in Livorno and we were walking and walking and walking for hours there. And the receptionist could not be more right. There was nothing there. We were looking for a restaurant to eat or maybe some shops to look around, but there was absolutely nothing. We were close to the port area and maybe that's why there was nothing there. I don't know. But we walked a lot looking for a place. I remember that there was a part of Livorno that it was a huge piece of land with nothing on it. And there was one statue in one side and another statue on the other edge. And my husband and I even took some funny pictures there, but there was nothing there. But all the other places in Italy were wonderful. I just gotta say that the pizza in Italy is not as good as the pizza in the United States. We took an excursion to learn how to make pizza in Italy, the traditional Italian pizza. And I thought, well, if the pizza in the United States is good, can you imagine in Italy? And it was literally a piece of bread. They put some drops of cheese, a little bit of tomato, and 2 basil leaves. And they called that pizza. I tried that. For me, it was just a dry bread that was missing a lot of cheese. But I think that's the traditional Italian pizza. And we tried the pizza in Livorno, tried the pizza in Naples, we tried the pizza in Rome, and we also tried their pizza in Sicily. And I gotta tell you, they were all equally bad. So I will stick to my pizza in the United States and Brazil. I also have this Pandora suitcase here, which is absolutely adorable. And this suitcase here is representing all my trips by ship, by plane, by road, all of them. Because I usually only take one suitcase with me, believe it or not. Especially when I'm taking a plane, because I'm always afraid that if I put my luggage in the belly of the plane, they're gonna lose it. So I always only travel with my carry-on, and I try to pack everything in that one carry-on. I have gone to trips of 11 days abroad with one suitcase, believe it or not. You're probably gonna ask me, how did you do that? So it was summer, so it was easier, so I just loaded my suitcase with like 11 different dresses, and I was ready to go. I had one different outfit for each day, and that's usually how I do it, especially if it's summer. Summer clothes are usually lightweight, so it's easier to do that. The next charm that I have here is this dangle, which is the Eiffel Tower, and this is a really cute charm. If we look at the feet of the tower, we can see 4 little hearts, and it's a very detail-oriented charm. It says Pandora in one side, and the other side it says Paris, and there is a little heart there too. And this charm is here to represent my trip to France, in Paris, where I saw the Eiffel Tower, which was a dream of mine. For several years of my life, I always dreamed about taking some pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower. So going there was really a dream that came true for me. One more charm that I have here is Brazil. So this charm here is all painted in enamel, and we can see the flag of Brazil here in front of it. And on the back of it, we can see Brazil written there with a tiny heart. And Brazil is written with the letter S instead of Z. Because in English we write Brazil with Z, but in Portuguese Brazil is actually written with the letter S. So I love this little detail here that Brazil was actually spelled in the Portuguese form. So as a Brazilian, I could not miss this charm in my collection. The next 2 charms that I have here are USA flags, and these 2 charms here are painted with enamel and in the colors of the USA flag. We have here this heart dangle, that has a flag, and on the back of the heart we can see that we have USA and a heart. And we also have a silhouette of the map of the United States on the other charm. But of course they were not able to add Alaska and Hawaii to this charm here. So on the back of the charm they put a little heart with the abbreviation of Alaska and also Hawaii. There is another heart too with the engraving of USA. And I could not miss to have these two charms in my collection, because although I am Brazilian by birth, I am American by choice. I became an American citizen, so I have dual citizenship, and the United States has been my new home for the last 14 years of my life. So one of these charms here represents my citizenship, and the other charm represents all the places that I have seen living here in the United States for the last 14 years. I have visited several states. My favorite place to visit was Alaska, when we took a cruise to Alaska.
Olha só como o Alasca é lindo no verão. Aquelas são montanhas de gelo que estão derretendo, se transformando em cachoeira e caindo no mar.
During my trip to Alaska, I remember that I visited Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska, and it is the only state capital which is not accessible by road. So the only way to get to Juneau is either through a boat or through a plane. You cannot just drive to Juneau. So it's a hard place to reach, but it's definitely worth the trouble because it's absolutely beautiful. We also visited Ketchikan, and we really had a wonderful time in Ketchikan too. We saw several different places, took several pictures. We also visited Skagway, and I remember that in Skagway we took a train trip, and it even crossed to part of Canada during that train trip. It was beautiful. The scenery, everything looked like a postcard. It was absolutely beautiful. And another thing that I absolutely loved to see in Alaska was the glacier. They only have cruises to Alaska during the summer, because in the winter time it's impossible for even cruise ships to go through the ocean to reach Alaska. Because of all the icebergs, it's dangerous. So we go there during the summer, and even in the summer we still can see mountains of ice that haven't melted yet. So it's just beautiful. I remember being inside the ship and we could hear those huge pieces of glass falling into the ocean, making huge sounds like it was just beautiful. And we saw several eagles too. and several sea animals. Some people even saw whales. I did not spot any whale during my trip. It was just beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I know it's part of the United States, but I think Alaska, it looks like another country to me.
Olha o tamanho dessa montanha de gelo aqui no Alasca.
Now I have the Statue of Liberty that represents my trip to the New York City. The Statue of Liberty is located on the Liberty Island, and I was able to see the Statue of Liberty through a helicopter because when my husband and I went to New York, we took a helicopter tour to see the Statue of Liberty. So the helicopter actually surrounded the whole Statue of Liberty, so that was really interesting. That was a wonderful way to see it through the air, and I absolutely loved it. And this charm has several beautiful details too. You can see here a little heart on the feet of the statue. It's very beautiful and rich in details.
E eu tô aqui em frente à Estátua da Liberdade. Beijão!
Every time I take a trip, I always like to take a lot of pictures because I believe that pictures, they keep the memories alive somehow. So I have traveled a lot and I have lots of pictures. So I have this camera charm here to represent my love for picture during all these trips. I also have a passport charm here. It has a little stone in the front, zirconia. And the passport book has a plane here. It says passport, and on the back of it, it has the Pandora symbol. And I have this passport to remind me of all my international trips. I also have this super cute plane to remind me of all the trips I have ever taken. The next charm that I have right here is this Basilica of La Sagrada Familia, and this charm is here to represent my trip to Spain. I have been both to Palma de Mallorca and also to Barcelona in Spain. This church here that you see represented on this charm is in Barcelona. It's called La Sagrada Familia, and La Sagrada Familia is the largest unfinished Catholic church in the world. It is a very unique church, so we visited it while we were in Barcelona, and this charm here has a heart on the top of the church. It's really beautiful. And this church here was designed by Gaudi. It's really one of the most famous tourist places to visit in Barcelona. I also like to visit Palma de Mallorca a lot in Spain. They are pretty famous for their pearls. So if you are into pearls, there are gonna be lots of opportunities to buy pearls in Palma de Mallorca. It was a beautiful place and I really like to see it. And I think it's great to have this charm here to remind me of these two places that I saw in Spain. The last charm that you're going to see in my bracelet here is this maple leaf. And this maple leaf charm has a synthetic ruby in both sides of the charm, and it's a really cute maple leaf. This charm is here to represent my trips to Canada, to both Vancouver and Prince Rupert. I really loved to see these two places in Canada. I had never been to Canada when I got this charm, and it was great. I really love it to see it. Vancouver is just spectacular. I loved everything that I saw there. It's a very modern and beautiful place. I also like to see Prince Rupert a lot. So these were two places in Canada that I visited and that I also absolutely loved. So it's great to have this charm here to represent Canada in my collection. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like and also subscribe to my channel. Leave me your comments here. Please remember to check my playlist about Pandora because you're probably going to enjoy my other videos too. Thank you so much and bye bye!